Hey everyone, Matt here. It is Wednesday. That is the main event time where we go over our main topics for the week. So if you're watching or listening, this is the meat and potatoes of the episode. If we happen to have any news to discuss as well, that's where we'll talk about it here. For the full episode, check us out on Saturdays. Thanks for watching and listening. Hope you enjoy. Welcome to another episode of Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt from the My Class and YouTube channel, joined by Lani from Call Me Lani, reporting back from Barcelona and Mobile World Congress, I think. Lani, how are you today?
I did step on the showroom floor. One of my favorite cities and definitely my favorite tech conference in the world. But yes, I am back and it feels good to be back. So, hi y'all. Hope y'all didn't miss me.
You're greatly missed.
I watched last week's episode where I wasn't there, and it was very clear that you guys did not miss me.
You're always missed. What are you talking about? Yeah, it took me way too long. I'd like to admit that when I realized what you were in Barcelona for, when I went, oh, so much cool stuff.
So much cool stuff.
Yep, we'll find out about it soon, hopefully. Anyway, we are also joined by Tariq from Reeks Rewards. Tariq, how are you today?
I'm good. Probably not as good as Lani was over the last week, but not everyone can be as baller as Lani, so I'm just chilling.
All right, folks, we're going to start the shot counter early.
Your points.
Roll credits, y'all.
That's the title of the podcast.
And we're also joined by RJ from Do You Take Cards. RJ, how are you today?
I am well. It's a couple of new things that I'll drop during the episode that have gone well this year. So far, so good. Off to a pretty good 2025 as far as credit cards go, at least.
Which reminds me, I still have to call Chase.
Do call Chase.
Matt, for the love of all.
I called tonight. To be fair, I called tonight. Apparently, business hours for Chase are not the listed 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. on the reconsideration line. It is 8 a.m. to not 8 o'clock at night, because I tried calling at 8:14. I tried again at 8:47. So I will call during normal hours because people are stupid. Staff your lines, Chase. Thanks for watching. We're going to move over to our news roundup and topics. This week there is limited news. Pretty much the only thing that came up in the pre-show was Southwest has devalued your earning rates when purchasing tickets directly from Southwest. The want to get aways got slashed all the way down to 2 points per dollar. Another form of want to get away like preferred went from 8 points to 6 points, and then some other things got slashed a little bit. Beyond that, there hasn't been much else. Tariq, did you want to speak about the Southwest at all?
Yeah, so essentially the only two fares that were affected were the Want to Get Away and the Want to Get Away Plus. Anytime in Business Select stayed the same. And I think the worst part about it is it takes into effect even like future flights that you already booked. So perfect example, I'm flying up to Kansas City this weekend and I booked the Want to Get Away. In hindsight, I wish I would have done the Want to Get Away Plus for the extra $20 now. But instead of getting 6 points on this per dollar on this flight, I'm only getting 2. So I'm losing about 2/3 of the points that I thought I was going to get because Southwest did Southwest things. And it's weird because Southwest is like, okay, cool. This is like my number one. And between this and them going through a lawsuit with my home airport, it ain't looking too great right now. So thanks, Southwest. Good way to start my relationship of coming back and realizing that I realized that you were the one for me, and then you give me the middle finger somewhat. But it's a small niche of Southwest flyers. So I don't know. Maybe I should go back to a legacy airline, I guess. Probably not. I don't know. I'm overthinking again. I need to just go back to the corner.
Self-directed. Best way. they just slapped you in the face to wake you up, just to make sure that you're awake. So that'll do it for the news roundup. We'll move to Lani for Lani's topic.
Oh, I get to go first tonight. All right.
Yes.
That's nice. That's real nice. All right. So we talk about credits and some of our favorite terminology, like effective annual fee and things like that, and like how you can justify your cards and the cost of an annual fee. Like, how do you get all these particular credits back? Now, while I was gone last week, a viewer sent me a message and asked about certain credits and how I use them, or how I make sure I get a benefit, specifically the $25 travel bank on the IHG Premier card, because United Travel Bank, if you were to go buy it, expires in 5 years, whereas the $25 for the first half and back half of the year, so the $50 total, on the IHG Premier expires in 6 months. So you get it in January, expires in July. The one you get in July expires in January. And they were asking, like, how many different ways can you use it other than just like booking a trip? And I'm like, you know what? If I can't use it, I'll just let it die. Like, it's only $25, maybe only $50 for the year total. Like, come on, let's be real. Tariq has definitely bought some food before and it turned out to be nasty, and he spent $50 on it and he hated it. Like, we can lose $50 sometimes. Like, we do bad things sometimes, and sometimes food is nasty. So my question this week are, there are a lot of credits out there that we do use, but what about the ones that we don't? And do you have any credits that you don't care if you lose or if you just die? So like I said, my $25 on my IHG Premier, I'm not going to go out of my way and buy a plane ticket to save $25. That just makes no sense. And also, I think I mentioned this before on the podcast, my AmEx Gold, the $100 Resi credit, the $50 and $50 for front and back half of the year. I don't live anywhere close to a Resi restaurant. And if I do, there are a couple in my area that were within 30, 45 minutes away, not too much of a drive. But they're all like adult dining that open up at 5, 6 p.m. and toddler, not going to happen. So I usually let my $100 die on my AmEx Gold card as well. So I'm really interested in seeing or hearing what credits you guys have in which you're just like, not worth it, it can die. And Tariq, I'm going to start with you because I called you out a little bit.
Well, full disclosure, there has been very, very few instances where I'm spending $50 on food and it's nasty. For the most part, it's all right. And my girlfriend usually takes it as, this food sucks. And she's 100% correct. That's why I love it.
We've all been there. You know what I was getting at.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've had some where I was like, damn, I really spent money on this, huh? So it's a little bit easier for me because I think to date I only have 3 annual fee cards. Let's start with the kind of the easy credit that I don't use. That being my Chase Sapphire preferred the $50 hotel credit if I pay do a cash booking on the Ultimate Rewards travel portal. My annual fee renew is going to be up in about 2 months. And to date, I don't see myself paying for that hotel in cash to get the $50 credit. I've burned all of my points through Hyatt and IHG. And for the most part, it's a little bit weirder with the travel portals. So like, I don't know if I would even get the benefits with my, Hyatt Discoverist or IHG Platinum with Chase. So I don't want to run that risk just to get a $50 statement credit. It's $50. I get I use the Dash Pass so that then I get that $10 monthly one. So I can justify the annual fee, but honestly, if I was paying I'm paying $95 to get access to Chase Transfer Partners. I knew that when I signed up for it. So I knew the $50 wasn't going to be much. So that one was easy. Second one on my IHG Premier Business. There is if you spend $20,000 on the card, you'll get $100 statement credit and 10,000 bonus points. I don't see myself spending $20,000 on the card. I know Lani and we've talked about how it's a really good catch-all card. And while I could see it potentially happening, now that I'm leaning back to Southwest with Chase, I'm starting to earn more Chase points. Plus, with the built card I just got, I'm starting to diversify my card spend again. And I got like 15 3x dining cards. And even though I get 5x IHG points, sometimes I need the 3x Chase or 3x built points. So that one I don't really use. Another one would be that United Travel Bank credit, because it's $25 every 6 months. And there is no true way to maximize the credit other than getting a $25 discount on your flight. So I signed up for it because, yeah, I'll sign up for it. I see it in my account, but it's going to die. And it is what it is. And lastly, my Hyatt business card, which, my favorite one I love to talk about.
Really?
I know, right? Surprise. There's the two $50 statement credits, which frankly I have tried to use, but it's one of those at this point, I'm gonna let it die. If I'm not able to use it, it is what it is. I'm just not gonna throw a fit over it. So it's whatever. Honestly, I'm not I don't really use the majority of the credits on my cards now that I think about it, because I've gone through like the bulk. And until I get to the big boy or big girl league of having high annual fee cards that have a legitimate credit that is worth using, I don't think I'm going to be using my credits for the most part. It's going to be one of those, if I use the credit, it's kind of like accidentally, and I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, cool. Next thing. So, yeah, it's the kind of the benefit of having $95 to $99 annual fee cards. There isn't a lot of credits to justify. So I just pay the fee and move on with my life.
Nothing wrong with it. It's your money. Matt, I'm going to go to you. I'm going to save RJ for last, because before the show, she showed us the novel of list. We're saving the best for last tonight, folks. So
like
Matt,
credit card terms and conditions, honestly.
Tome. Yeah, so I have one large annual fee card. It's my Sapphire Reserve. I always do the $300 travel credit. So then there's another $300 in DoorDash and in DoorDash credits, and another $100 in Dash Pass. Like Dash Pass, as long as I use Dash Pass, I'm justifying the $100 Dash Pass membership, right? With Dash Pass, like I try to get everything taken care of, like everything with the $5 and the two $10. It is slightly annoying. If I don't do both $10, I'm not going to be annoyed about it. Like, really, of that $300 credit, if I use $170 of it, that's awesome. If I don't use $170 of it, oh well. Like I will let those get eaten. But I do pay, like I like having the Dash Pass covered for the times I need to utilize DoorDash, which is great. I activated Lyft Pink. The crickets on Lyft are way too loud at this point. Like, Chase, please. It's March 11th. This is going away on like March 30th or whatever the last day of March is. So give us a sign, please. Anything. So I do have the Lyft Pink All Access for 2 years. I'm in the second year of that, and the third year would be 50% discount, unless it gets extended, which I would appreciate. If I don't use all the DoorDash credits, I'm not worried about it. I will use the travel credit. I am using the Dash Pass. I am using the Lyft Pink All Access. We'll see what happens with Lyft Pink going forward. But like, if I don't use all three of my little DoorDash side quests, I'm not going to sweat it. Like, I can hit the restaurant one really easy. The grocery ones are a little bit of a pain because sometimes, I'm sitting there going, I do want these things from CVS. I don't want somebody else picking these things up from CVS, but I'm not willing to go to CVS. So I'm just not going to order this. So, yeah. And
You
then I let
literally
them
just
die.
explain the app, by the way.
Yeah.
That's the purpose of the app.
Yeah, no, I know. That's how they're pocketing $10 a month from me from time to time. No, and then the other annual fee card is just the $99 JetBlue business card. I get 5,000 points just for holding the card now. That's half the annual fee right there. And then check a bag. I'm good. So as long as I check a bag, I'm good. To steal from Tariq there. So yeah, I can just pass it over to RJ and the tome of credits that she is not using, because for me, after the $300 and whatever else I get on the card, I'm in the black at that point. Or if I'm not, I don't care.
Yeah. As for that
Ready, y'all. It's just a
$10
long list
dash
for RJ.
as for that $10 dash pass, I want to know who uses it before the sun goes down, because it's usually you're sitting there on the couch and it's a bag of chips or some Ben and Jerry's, and it just comes in clutch at that precise moment.
$10 dash pass. I am a short drive to a Dash Mart, and I will use it on, what is it, the Jenny's pint of ice cream, because it's $10, and I will just drive, get the $10 and go.
Wait, folks. Tariq has admitted to not buying a Texas brand of ice cream. He has bought from Ohio's own Jenny's.
Hey, I lived in Ohio for 3 years of my life. My brother was born in Toledo. So, it's a little bit of a little connection there. But also just because I'm just trying to use the full credit. Honestly, yes, I'm using the full credit. I don't care.
Do we just have a tangent inside of a tangent? Is this like
inside of a tangent? Yeah.
Yeah, this is like Hamlet right here. This is good. This is real good. Okay, RJ.
So I have my iPad mini to help me out. This is the list.
Good Lord, she's scrolling.
And this is not inclusive of the like spend $75,000, get unlimited Centurion Lounge. Like I didn't go that far.
All right, we're gonna take a commercial break and everybody go grab a drink, and then we're gonna come back and go through RJ's list.
Just press pause on this episode right now.
This week's episode of Stack Your Points is brought to you in part by Grater's Ice Cream. Grater's from...
Can't believe you didn't do Stewart, sir.
I'm surprised we didn't do a typical YouTube on like Aura.
And I think a tangent inside a tangent is our title. All right, RJ, go.
That's a good one. All right, so let's start with the cards that I either use all the credits for or don't have a credit, just for completion's sake. Apple Card, Chase Freedom Unlimited, the Blue Business Plus. I use everything on the Business Gold, Hilton Surplus. I'm good there. Start with the Platinum card. There are two specifically on the Platinum card I'd like to call out.
Saks.
I use the Saks because
Whoa.
Here's the thing. Saks has kitchen stuff. I just bought a beautiful kitchen knife that was already $25 off, and I got $50 off. I got a beautiful kitchen knife for like $50 that is gorgeous. Love it. I bought a stainless steel pan for like $3 last credit. Saks credit is great if you're looking for very specific things and you get a good sale on it. Pro tip. The first one is the $99 Clear Plus credit. Do not give your biometric data to a private company. Don't give them your DNA. Don't give them your iris scan. Don't give them your whatever bodily fluids you want to talk about. Don't do it. It's a bad idea.
Aren't we trying to be at least PG-13 here? Come on, y'all.
That's why I said bodily fluids. And then the $300 Equinox credit and SoulCycle at home bike credit. No. I want to meet the person who uses that credit or got the platinum specifically for that credit. I would like to meet you. The gold card. I don't live conveniently near a resi, so this is going to be a running theme. It's like if it was a dining credit, if it was a blanket $50 twice a year dining credit, be great. It's a gold card. Works out great. They don't even have to pay the points on the $50 if they don't want to. Would work out great. I understand their relationship with Resi and it's not going to happen, but I can dream. The green card. The only credit on the green card is a $99 Clear Plus credit. I believe you understand my desire not to use Clear. Delta Reserve, $240 Resi credit, same thing. I might have to find something because that annoys me. Business Platinum, Adobe, Indeed, the wireless credit, and of course, can't not have a Clear credit on this as well. And then the Delta Business Reserve, again, the $240 credit. The CSP, I don't use the $50 hotel credit. And that is everything. So a little bit faster than maybe told. But yeah, I love Amex, but if a credit doesn't work for you, just don't use it. Like you should not have to wrap yourself 4 times around to try to use some credit on a card that gives you a ton of that. Like I get a ton of value from my platinum. If I had to try to figure out how to use the Clear credit and actually get value out of it, or the Equinox credit, I would have an aneurysm. And then the bike at home wouldn't really help me from that. Or maybe it would as I do PT to recover from the aneurysm. So just if you're not using a credit, but you still use the card for other things, just be happy. Just be happy. You're allowed to be happy in this game. I promise you.
You can pass that Adobe credit on over here. I'll happily use it if you're not gonna.
There you go. I'm canceling the card in August, so you have until then to hit me up.
I will slide into your DMs. Okay, that list wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And there was actually some surprising things on there, especially like I understand why you say don't use Clear, but I'm surprised that you don't use Clear because you're such a travel day junkie like I am.
I have TSA and global entry, and where I fly, I've never had an issue with that.
Do you well, similar to Resi, are you, because of your geolocation, are you even in a Clear airport swinging distance?
No. I would have to go
well,
down
then
to
you
New
can.
York City for that. Like
Yeah,
my home airport TSA pre-check it's either normal or TSA pre-check. Those are your
yeah.
two options. And then the airports I'm in are hit or miss, but I've never waited longer than 10 minutes in a TSA pre-check line, including like the city or West Coast or whatever I'm flying. So I've never really felt the need to give my biometric data to another company.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, that's all, folks. Who's next?
Thank you, Lani. Also, dear Chase, make it so that we can earn nights so that $50 Chase credit could be useful. Or dear hotels, let Chase let you earn nights so that they can make that $50 credit useful. Tariq, your topic of the week.
Oh wow, we have to go through the big one already. All right, so gonna throw a little bit of government in there. Understand that some people are going to be turned off on this, but this is relevant to the game that we play. So over the weekend, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, better known as just AOC, and Representative Ana Paulina Luna have decided to join forces in a bipartisan bill to help cap credit card interest rates at 10%. Now, we have seen other legislation be introduced, like the Credit Card Protection Act a few months back, and even years ago when debit cards actually earned rewards, but then there was a certain Durbin Amendment that capped that. So with this new interest rate legislation, if it were to get passed, we're going to see the typical credit card interest rates that usually are like 30+% gets slashed to 10. Now, in our game, in our podcasts and respective channels, one of the things that we will talk about when it's kind of an understood, we may mention a few times, we've mentioned the back to basics. If you're paying interest on the credit card, on your credit cards, you are losing the game. There's not enough points in the world that will make up for the interest that you're going to be paying that comes from carrying a balance. With that being said, we understand there are two pretty major things that the banks get that kind of help fund the points. It's a weird dynamic that we have, that being interchange fees and interest. And it's a weird thing that we don't always like to talk about, but the people sometimes that carry the balance and pay the interest to the banks are partially the reason why we are able to play this game. The times I think about it, I feel slimy. With that being said, if banks overnight, because of this legislation, hypothetically, should it pass, there's a possibility that the game that we play in the points and miles and the earning categories will get slashed as a result, because banks don't like to lose money. So I want to open the floor and hear what my fellow co-hosts have to say and think about this legislation, this bill, and how it will potentially affect the points and miles game that we play. RJ, I'm going to start with you.
So there's a lot of things here. One is, this is one of those weirdly kind of, sort of, a little bit bipartisan things. Representative AOC and Luna are about as far on the political spectrum from each other as you can possibly get. So this is not a us versus them thing. This really is fairly bipartisan. And this is the House version of basically the Senate bill that Bernie Sanders and Matt, which Republican is co-sponsoring it? Hawley, right?
Josh, I run away from people, Hawley.
It is Josh Hawley. I have AOC's press release on that.
Yeah. So this is the House bill. The Senate already has a bill. Basically, they have to be in both bodies. They debate them. There's a lovely Schoolhouse Rock episode on how this works. People go watch it. Anyway, so it's a bit of a weird issue. Here is some things that may happen. You apply for a credit card and your limit is $2,000, and you feel like you're at Capital One now. Because they're going to, if this passes, credit limits are going to be smaller. That is a possible issue. It will be, the welcome bonuses will be smaller. A lot of the things that I don't want to say take for granted, will be smaller. Now, what may happen in a weird way, depending on how the bills come out, is if this caps personal interest and not business interest, all of that, I kind of sort of have a business from people in the credit card game might go to people not in the credit card game because they can't get a personal card anymore. So that could be a bad thing, because if you can't get a personal card because of your credit score or whatever, like can't get a Chase like Slate card, and you have to go get like a business platinum now, that probably doesn't bode well for your ability to pay it back. So that could create a really negative environment, because you don't have those protections on business cards, as we've talked about, you have on personal cards. So that could create sort of a feeding frenzy on bad things happening. So it could be bad on some things like that. On the other side of the fence, like, is it good that somebody who is behind has their interest capped at 10% from like a public good place? Probably, right? Like, I am not an economist. I am not studying the effects of like the difference between you having 10% interest and 20% interest. My gut tells me 20% interest is worse than 10% interest, right? For people who have high debt on credit cards. But I don't know what it's going to do overall. I don't know if it's going to encourage people to overspend because they only have 10% interest on their card and not, 27% interest on their card. I don't know. I don't know what those fallouts are going to be. So part of me thinks this is a good thing. Part of me worries about what it's going to do to the game. Part of me worries what it's going to do as people are using cards more because the interest rates are lower and then they get even farther behind. So I don't know. I want good things for more people. I want more rewards for us. I want all of the things that are counterbalancing each other and sort of counterintuitive to each other. So I don't know. I don't have a great deal of, and I'm sure Matt can talk to the actual realities of these actually passing more than I can, but I don't have a great hope that they will pass, or at least in the forms that they currently take, sort of the more pure forms that they currently take. So we'll see, but I'm conflicted on a lot of the points in it because I don't know if it's going to do the things that it's supposed to do without causing some negative effects. And I'm not even talking points and miles game effects. So that's what I got.
So I did a little quick math, and just on, let's just use a 30% interest rate and a 10% interest rate on the national credit card debt balance right now, which was, as of quarter 3 2024, was $7,236. There would be a difference of $120 a month in interest if it were to go from 30 to 10%. So yeah, it would help out a lot in that case for the people who carry balances and pay it off. So as a finance person who loves to make sure like the people that I care about and other people pay off their balances and not be in credit card debt, because the credit card debt is arguably one of the worst debts you can be in aside from predatory payday lenders. I see it as a great thing for the personal finance side, but as a person that likes travel and using points and miles, it is devastating. It's a weird line that you kind of have to walk. And sometimes you have to look and see if your moral compass is aligned when we're discussing these things. Lani, what do you think?
Sorry, hit the wrong button. I actually like this question. I'm going to go on the other side of the spectrum than what RJ did, not to like contradict what she said or anything. But the first thing to realize is, as you had just mentioned, when it comes to debt, especially here in America, credit card debt by itself is 1.2 trillion with a T, with a TR and an illion dollars. Trillion. Now, I only bring that up because banks make their money off of interest. Like, the entire banking system is basically it's a professional system of IOUs. Like, hey, I gave you money and you give me money back. And it's like, as long as you owe me money, I'm not broke. Like, give me money on time. And if you don't give it to me on time, I'm going to charge you extra for it. Actually, even if you do give it to me on time, I'm going to charge you extra for it because that's what a house loan is. That's what a car loan is. That's what your student loan is. They already give you it. And then literally 30 days later, it's like, hey, time for your first payment plus interest. The reason why I'm starting off with these 2 points is because I honestly think that bonus categories are going to go up. They're going to get better. They're going to be more enticing because if you're going to cap off the interest rate, drop it from 30 down to 10, the banks don't want to lose money. Banks don't want to make less money. That is literally the opposite business model of a bank. Hey, let's make some less money now. So they want to entice those people that have accumulated the $1.2 trillion to keep spending on the card so they can keep doing it. How do you do that? We're going to do a 5X at Range Rover category, straight up, you're going to get 10X on Jordans. Let's call it what it is, this type of stuff. Yeah, I'm talking to people on the street that I grew up on. I'm just going, Tariq knows what I'm talking about. Tariq knows where that money's gonna come from. Anyway,
I got you. Yeah, we locked in, Lani.
we both got a cousin. Anyway,
Yep.
20x on eggs.
right. Like your grocery categories are gonna go up. All the categories that you're gonna like. It wouldn't surprise me if dining wasn't 3x on average across the board, and that just hopped up to like, you know what, 10x at McDonald's. Let's just call it what it is. And so that way, that money, that debt accumulates more so that interest can keep them where they're at. And for those that are not playing the credit card game properly, yeah, they're going to continue losing. And that's how we're already at 1.2 trillion. But for us that are on the other side of the fence, that are like, you can reduce the percentage down to 10%. I don't really give it crap. It's not going to affect me because I'm going to pay my balance off in full before you get an extra dime, quarter, or penny out of me. So go for it. I'm not going to change the way that I pay off my cards because I don't want to pay any interest whatsoever. So for some, yes, it could end up hurting them. But for the overall aspect of it all, like for the people that are paying off in full, the ones that are financially responsible with their credit cards, this could be a huge win because the banks, like I said, they're not going to want to take less money. How do we get more money? New cards, new welcome bonuses, better bonus category so you can actually spend on the card. Maybe they push it off to the merchants and now the swipe fees go up. Who knows? Like they got to make their money whatever way they got to make their money. But that ain't got nothing to do with me. Right now, the merchants aren't pushing that swipe fee onto me unless I'm international. And I'm not paying the interest, but I'll happily take, the 10x on the Jordans. I'll happily take, the 10x on food and dining and eating out, even though I don't do it too often. I might do it more often if I can get that many points from doing it. Who knows? So, like I said, I'm going to take the opposite. I'm going to swing to I don't want to say the far right. I'm going to swing to the other side of the spectrum from RJ on this one.
Ooh, that's chilling. I mean, honestly,
that's a bad choice of words.
Yeah, it is March. 10x on a crawfish boil would really be good for me right now. But man, I only ask
the king crab and that alone to get you like 20,000 points.
Look, I went to do a boil with my girlfriend and me, and I spent $75 after a tip. And I just got a crawfish boil, so
this is literally the tangent episode. And I love
it. But so going back to the topic, I was intrigued when you kind of mentioned that rewards would go up, only because I think we've seen with like previous legislation, like the Durbin Amendment and like the proposed Credit Card Competition Act, where at least with the Durbin Amendment, we lost debit card rewards for the most part, aside from the PayPal debit card and the
AmEx.
AmEx, and I think the Discover also does like 1%. Now
they bring them back out of spite.
Yeah. So obviously, I know it's kind of a different aspect because debit cards are just taking you straight out of your checking account. So I guess that's probably why, and I kind of see, but there was a lot of the kind of the widespread fear with the Credit Card Competition Act and seeing how lowering interchange fees could potentially affect businesses as well. So I would be interested to see if banks actually decided, in order to make up for that, if they're increasing credit limits, if they're increasing multipliers, like you're saying, to make up for the fact that they're only going to get like a third of the interest that they were going to get. Because, why not? If someone's kind of drowning in debt, which is really backwards for the banks, offer a credit limit increase of like 5x your limit so you can start spending more. So again, I feel weird. I feel icky when I talk about this because I'm on both sides of personal finance and credit cards, but use your cards responsibly. You don't have to worry about that. Matt, what do you think?
Let me start with, I have zero respect for Representative Luna. I have no respect for Senator Hawley. I have just barely little more respect for Senator Sanders, and I respect Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. All that being said, this bill is a pink unicorn. It's not going to get passed. This Congress can't even pass a budget. This Congress can't even pass a continuing resolution of last year's budget. They can't write a new budget. They can't even operate on last year's budget. If you think this bill is getting passed anytime soon, I have several bridges to sell you. They happen to be in Alaska and they don't go anywhere, but I have several bridges to sell you. The banks will still find a way to get their money. Okay, cool. You've capped it. Credit card interest rate at 10%. Guess what? Your personal loan that you last week could qualify at 10% for is now going to be 15.5. Why? Because we lost 20%. You got a car note, that car note's going to go up unexpectedly. You got a mortgage, maybe you're locked in, unless you're locked in at whatever fixed. If you've got a variable mortgage, forget it. They're going to tack in a new interest rate to take back some of the money that they're going to lose here. The banks are going to get theirs. Now, they can offset it with other things like Lani mentioned. They can increase rewards. They can either adjust positively or negatively, like RJ said, welcome offers. Capping interest rates isn't going to change the bank's behavior of getting money. Now, the other thing this bill is absolutely not going to address in any way, shape, or form is people's basic financial literacy. Like, yes, it's going to be designed and sold as a way to, prevent the banks from being effectively loan sharks, but they're going to move around. Like, there's no safeguard in place for the bank not to move to change interest rates on another loan. There's currently no safeguards for them not to assess other fees. There's no safeguards to not raise annual fees or start slapping annual fees onto credit cards that currently have no annual fee. The Wells Fargo Autograph is comparable to the American Express Green Card. Why wouldn't Wells Fargo just slap a $150 annual fee on the Wells Fargo Autograph then? The Chase Freedom Unlimited could become a $49 annual fee card if you want the one that gives you rewards. Because now they can put in a no annual fee capped at 10% interest that gives you 1% on everything or 0.75% on everything, and still ramp up earnings and reward structures to like the Sapphire cards to encourage you to get the Sapphire cards and spend heavily on those. They're still going, they will find ways to put things in their favor. There's not going to be any guardrails written, not by this particular Congress, which again cannot pay the bills currently and cannot even come together to pass a new budget, let alone the continuing resolutions for last year's budget, which just happened to be passed under the administration that, this current administration is trying to dismantle everything from. Oh, and what about those late payments? They're supposed to be capped at $8. Well, currently there's no enforcement vehicle to ensure that those $8 late payments are actually $8. So the banks will just charge you whatever late fee they want and go blow past the $8 because there's no enforcement mechanism right now to ensure that $8 is $8. You could see them bring back debit rewards. Why? Because then they're going to give you the overage fee when you overdraw your account. Like, there's currently nothing that I'm aware of in this bill that will create safeguards to prevent the banks from doing horrendous things to folks in the name of capping interest rates at 10%. Yes, you'll cap interest rates at 10%. You're not going to do anything about financial literacy. You're not going to do anything to prevent other potential abuses that the banks aren't going to think about because they don't need to right now, because up until, I don't know, 3 months ago, things were peachy for them in terms of profits, in terms of what money was going through. Yes, there's trillions in credit card interest, and that's not great, in credit card debt, and that's not great. But you're not doing anything to help financial literacy. You're not doing anything to prevent the banks from running wild. Oh, and there's no agency to stand up for consumers, for the banks for that will go up against the banks. So yeah, you can pass a 10% interest rate cap. How are you going to enforce it? There's no enforcement vehicle. There's no power that's going to be given to, the Justice Department or anyone else to ensure that the banks, I don't know, don't run roughshod over everyone. Like, yes, we may get more rewards. We may get bigger welcome offers. And if it doesn't touch the business side of things, you'll probably see the American Express Business Platinum card give you 500,000 points, which for those of us who use our cards would easily do 20,000 and spend for 500,000 American Express points. They could go to 1,000,000. Like the point rating, the points systems will get inflated, but it's all going to be in the name of getting people to spend more money. Like there's so many ways this can go sideways, especially in the environment that we're in right now. There's so many different ways that this could go terribly. And Josh Hawley's not thinking about that because Josh Hawley wants to promise you a pink unicorn. Congresswoman Luna's not thinking about that because Congresswoman Luna wants to promise you a pink unicorn because that's what was said on the campaign trail during what happened. Senator Sanders might be thinking about that, but the last time he passed a bill was, oh wait, never, unless it's renaming a post office after someone in Vermont. And Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez will probably think about the safeguards, but they'll all get stripped out of conference committee. Like, luckily, this bill can't pass. If this bill did pass, apocalyptically bad for the people they think they're helping. Fire and brimstone.
I am so glad that I saved Matt for last on this because I did not expect that level of rant. Like that was like I that's like a 2x RJ rant if I've ever seen one.
So this is why, Tariq, you need to stay for the after show where I ask Matt political questions because he's basically the Wikipedia.
And I understand, but also, I get up in the morning. Wifey wants me off the podcast as soon as we're done recording.
They can't make things run from last year's money.
Oh, well, again, we know where government is going for a while, regardless of administration. I always say left wing or right wing, it's they're both attached to the same bald eagle doing a tailspin into the ground or nosedive into the ground. But that's beside the point. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't pass because God only knows the nightmare it would create. All right, I think I'm done with my topic. Who's next?
Again, sorry, y'all. Yeah, well, we'll close on a positive note. So we'll go to my topic next. Thinking about last week in the discussion about weird cards, one card that came up was the American Express Zync card. The American Express Zync card was a card that was a base one times earning card with a $25 annual fee. It was a charge card from American Express aimed at people like me, but around the time they launched it, the entire financial system collapsed. Hey, it might again. One of the cool things about the card, though, was that it offered the ability to purchase packs, and these packs would give you increased earnings on various categories, whether it be entertainment or travel. You could buy extra protections, rental car protection, things like that. So you got to your annual fee would increase or go back down to the base of 25 based on what you decided to add to the card. Let's say something like that came back and you could add multipliers to a card or add benefits to a card in addition to the annual fee that you're already paying. So if there's no annual fee card, let's say the Chase Freedom Unlimited and you wanted to double your earnings on that card, you could pay either a monthly fee or an annual fee for that card. Would you pay a monthly fee or an annual fee, a subscription of some sort, which might tie into Tariq's topic a little bit as a way to offset losses for the banks, should that terrible bill come to pass? But would you add multipliers for a fee to your cards or additional perks to your cards? I will throw to Lani on this one just because I've ranted long enough.
Yes. Where do I sign up? How do I do it? What are the actually after I say yes and hand over my money, now tell me what bonus categories or what new categories I'm going to get these extra points from. The answer is yes. Like this is exactly what we would need. And as you had mentioned, instead of like sub hunting, this could actually save a lot of people's credit scores, help out credit scores in whatever way, have longevity on your credit score, on your credit report, like all sorts of things. This is how you get to the one card to rule them all. Like if I could do this across 3 cards, I will probably only need 3 cards. Because why have so many cards to cover so much of my active and everyday spend when I could just slowly buy everything across 3 cards and end up in the exact same position, maybe even for less. Like we talked about this in a previous podcast episode. I pay over $2,500 a year in just annual fees across all my cards. That's not cheap. Now I'm not worried about it. I get way more value than that back, and all that other stuff. But could I get the exact same type of travel, not skip anything when it comes to my redemptions, my travel, and all that other stuff for less? If we could just make my annual fees more, like I don't see a problem with paying $2,500 in annual fees to get everything I get, or just have one card and I pay $2,500 in an annual fee for that one card and keep everything that I currently have. Maybe even save a little bit because, like we have mentioned before, yes, I have a card that gives me Hilton Diamond status. I also have a card that gives me, I get Hilton Gold status 3 other different ways. Like, let's get rid of some of that 3 other different ways stuff, and I could end up saving some money. And that's just Hilton. And I'm only using that because we had a question about that earlier. I could do that across a couple of different categories, to be completely honest. So yes, where is it? How do I sign up? And all that other fun stuff. I'm on board for this.
How much would you pay above what you already pay for the Sapphire Reserve if the Sapphire Reserve doubled its travel category and did like 2.5 times catch-all?
So it did 2.5 catch-all. I keep everything else, and then my 300 turns to a 600. Or are you talking about the 3x turns to 6x?
3x turns to 600. 3x turns to 6x, but depending on how high the annual fee is, maybe I'll give you the 600 too. Maybe I'll throw that in the 600 too.
All right, so let's throw the 600 away and let's go 3x goes to 6x. Let's see, and 2.5 on everything, and right now it's 550. Oh, I'll easily pay 800 for that. That sounds like an $800 worthy thing.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And if they did the 300 to 600 on the travel category, I would still say like 850 would be reasonable. Now, I'm only saying that because unless you have some type of like black card, some premium card that's really hard to get, you really don't have a comma in your annual fee. And so I'm going to say if this is still publicly available, I'm going to throw that in. Like you're going to be pushing 900. But I don't think it's going to hit a comma because I don't think the public wants to see a comma in an annual fee.
Throw in some hotel statuses before I grab the comma. Ooh, hotel statuses as a pack. Maybe.
Or they could put like an Amex and you get to choose which hotel status you want. Like at the top of the year, pick the drop down. Which program do you want to be a part of?
Yes. I like that. I like that very much. RJ, please help me continue curing myself from this rant I just did.
Where do I sign up? Like, I would I would need like three
Right
cards because
behind
I'm
me,
sure.
RJ.
Yeah,
That's where you sign
exactly.
up. Right
I would need like
Line
three
starts to the
cards
left.
because I'm sure they have different packs at different like points. I can't see them doing one single card to rule them all with all the packs. I would imagine, they have different things in different places. Maybe one like lifestyle card, one travel card, whatever. But yeah, I would do this immediately. Like I have 14 cards, I think, right now. If I could get that down to even like five that I didn't have to think about, I would do it immediately. Like I'm a big fan of this idea. We've talked about it a couple of times, and yes, please.
Now, RJ, how deep into the combo would you go for the platinum to have either 2.5 capital or 3x mobile wallet?
If they had either of those, I would go up to. I think the most I could convince myself is probably 1,200.
Okay.
If it had 2.5 on everything, I would probably get rid of all except for the specialty cards, so the Hilton and the Delta. Everything else I would eat the gold card, I would eat the three on the green. I buy. And depending on what the packs were, I might not need the Delta and the Hilton.
Yep. Especially from AmEx.
Hmm.
All right. So Tariq, I'm going to assume you're a yes, but what say you?
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna be going behind RJ in the line of this because that sounds pretty cool. Um, if the Sapphire Preferred had certain packs where I could get mobile wallet, or instead of the $50 hotel credit, I could do a $50 travel credit through the portal, and I could actually use that versus because I know I could probably get Southwest points or at least United points if I wanted to book a United flight, so on and so forth. Um, yeah, or even on like my ISG Premier, hypothetically, I have the personal card and I pay extra to go from instead of having to spend what is it like $40,000 to go from platinum to diamond, I can just pay a higher annual fee and get diamond or even like a diamond light, or I can get some of the benefits, or I can even add some on benefits, or even just create my own kind of status. Same thing with like the Hyatt cards with Explorist or Globalist, because the premium Hyatt card does not exist, and God only knows if it will exist. Yeah, I think so. Like, I would increase my annual fee, like on a Sapphire Preferred, from 95 to 150 or even 200, 250, if we're gonna make it like kind of the gold card before the gold, or higher, depending on like what I'm gonna get. But same thing, maybe I would justify the Sapphire Reserve if I'm gonna go like depending on what the benefits may be. I think it's a great idea. I think it'd be cool, and I think I'd be in line to sign up and start assessing, do more planning and assessing instead of just ooh shiny.
I would actually do Spathco levels of math just to figure out
Oh,
how much I'd be
I would
willing to
have to
pay.
DM. I would have to DM Spathco, or we'd have to get a whole new channel on our Discord that's just like Spathco's corner, where we all just learn from him.
Help us justify this new annual fee. Yeah, no, I'm definitely joining that line. I want to see this in the worst way. I want to see this from the big banks, and I have to ask, like, how much money did American Express lose on Zinc that no other bank touched this? Because it's a brilliant idea. And I think the only thing that killed it was the fact that this idea was launched literally as the financial world collapsed. Because bring it back now. And I'm joining that line. I'm paying, I don't know how much of an annual fee if I could get 2.5 catch all on the Sapphire Reserve. I don't know, like I'd add packs to, like, if Wells Fargo did packs, I don't know what other packs they could do, because like Wells Fargo is already like, oh, you want to shop on Amazon? Here's 4 times points. Oh, you want to shop on Amazon, but like on a Wednesday, here's 60 times points. I don't know what sort of packs Wells Fargo would do. They would just go insane. I wouldn't trust US Bank with packs, but that's just because I don't trust US Bank. Uh, but Amex, Wells, Citi, hell, Capital One couldn't even mess this up. Like I would love to see what the big banks would do with this.
I
Um,
mean, it's possible they didn't lose money because there are like there's a weird thing with some versions of cards or some versions of ideas where it's almost like they're not trade secrets, but it's almost like nobody will copy this idea. Like it's almost like their secret sauce. That is a
maybe.
weird credit card thing. Like there are cards that other companies should just wholesale copy and they don't, and it's almost like, they don't want to put mustard and ketchup together because this other company will say it was theirs first.
Yeah, and I mean the Zinc did last a long time. Like it launched in the 2007, like around the time of the financial crisis, but like it was completely taken off the market and like discontinued, and the cards were changed in 2020. So the Zinc did live a life. Um, it's so maybe MX didn't lose money on it, like you said, but I'm curious to see why that experiment wasn't adopted by another bank, and another bank should absolutely do it as long as that bank isn't US Bank. I'm sorry, I just don't trust them. So I'll do it for my topic. I'm feeling a little bit better from that rant. RJ, why don't you take us out with your topic?
So mine's a pretty easy one. I think now and then it's good to touch in with everybody and to see sort of just some ideas we have. I thought I'd do an easy one and just talk about subs, and how we use sign up bonuses. Lonnie sort of went into his, so I'm going to start with him just for a recap. If you haven't listened to our Q&A, because this comes out Wednesday and that comes out Friday. Lani, you want to give them a sneak peek on your sign up bonus comments from earlier when we record, but later when they listen?
The are you referring to like when I get cards and how I planned around that part?
Right. So,
Got
yeah.
it.
So, we're talking about like, do you put just every bit of spend on one card? Do you, wait till you have a major spend? Sort of how your philosophy on sign up bonuses.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit of a melting pot when it comes to sign up bonuses. It all depends. The first things first. I am the type of person that likes one sign up bonus at a time. I don't like having two, three cards and I'm trying to work on two or three subs at a time because those are thousands of dollars and in most cases, you can only, well, use one at a time. Even if you split transactions, you go somewhere and it's $100, you can split it and put 50 over here and 50 over there, but it's still, you're only using one card at a time. And I'd rather just put the whole 100 on something and get to that sign up bonus. The next layer down is 100%. I try to max out the sign up bonus with whatever bonus category. And so obviously, I mentioned this multiple times. I recently got the Hilton Aspire, and the first things that I did was stay at Hilton Resorts and rent cars because I get 7X on rental cars. And I'm going to use that as my dining card. I didn't use my MX Gold for like over a month or so. That was my dining card. Those types of things. So whatever I can max out that sign up bonus with to get as many points as possible within that sub period. Um, then last but not least, when do I decide to do it? Well, sign up bonuses ain't cheap. They start off, $2,000, $3,000, $6,000, $8,000, depending on which carrier and how the level of annual fee that you have. And so for me, I don't want to worry about, ooh, am I going to hit this sign up bonus or not? Especially if it's like with Amex, who gives you 6 months. Now, I'm not going to say you forget that. The first thing I do is like, yeah, when is my sign up bonus due? It's due on June 1st. And I take 14 days off of that and I put a Google Calendar invite on my Google Calendar that says I need to hit this sign up bonus 2 weeks before. The reason why is because one, it has to post, and two, I don't care how good you are at an Excel sheet. You can type in every single transaction and then go to Amex chat and be like, yo, how much have I spent on this? And the number will never add up. Explain. RJ's nodding her head because she's going through this too. I don't know. I've counted every single penny. What do you mean your number is lower than my number? It happens every single time. Try it out. Go to your Amex account, log in, hit chat if you got a sub, and I guarantee you the numbers never add up. They just never do. So I always give myself that 2-week buffer. But to ensure that I do that, even though I got 6 months, I'm trying to get it out of the way, and not like I'm in a rush to just like overspend and swipe the card, use it for absolutely everything. So even though, yes, I might be in a sign up bonus, if that new card doesn't have grocery, then yeah, I might use my other card because I know I'm going to hit it. And the reason why I do that is because I always plan around when I have big spend um, in my natural organic life that I can put on a credit card. And that way, I know I can hit this sign up bonus. Tax season is always like one of my favorites because I know how much I'm going to pay in taxes annually every single year. That's one transaction I can hit a sign up bonus in most cases, depending on how much you pay in taxes. You know what I mean? And so by having that type of plan tells me what cards do I want? What cards do I want to get? Do I want a $0? I'm going to use Hilton again because right now they got their welcome offer that with the free night certificate. Do I want the $0 annual fee card because it has a $2,000 sign up bonus? Or do I want the other one that might have 3,000, 4,000, depending on like which one am I going to be able to hit, which one is going to give me the best return on my value and my spend, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how I do it. It's kind of like in a tiered system, but it all starts with not overextending my wallet by like, ooh, I just signed up for this card. Ooh, new shiny inflated sign up bonus. Let me go sign up for this card. And now you need to still spend $2,000 on card on the left. Now in $6,000 on the card on the right. And the other one might have 6 months and this one has 2. It's just one at a time. Use the cards the way they're intended. You're cool. We're grown ups here.
I dig it. Tariq, you have used rent as a sign up bonus in the past. Is that your strategy going forward? I know you just got the built card, so one would imagine your rent is going towards built. Do you have a plan for non-rent sub spend in the future? Anything like that?
So yeah, the built card, me acquiring the built card, and funny enough, to not worry about subs for the time being. I think I know I've said it in the past, and I will probably say it again because of my current situation. Rent spend is sub spend. Does that mean I will probably be eating the 3% fee just so I can work towards a sign up bonus? Yeah, sure. I can kind of justify it more when I'm working on a sign up bonus versus just day to day, like regular points accumulating. I know my brain is weird like that. But if I can use the categories to max out or to hit the bonus, I can. I don't see myself spending $4,000 in dining in 3 months. If I did, I would have a huge. I would hope the card has a category for doctor's visits. It's probably going to be rent, utility bills, kind of those one-offs that I would just kind of throw on a catch-all card. Insurance is a good one because I pay a decent amount for insurance. I pay it monthly, so I don't have to worry about like trying to wait to open up a card to do the biannual payment, even though it'll probably save me more money in the long run. But you know what? It is what it is, and I can get it for points earning. So that's at least for me about $700-ish in like a 3-month period. So that groceries I can throw on there because I spend about a good amount for groceries just between my girlfriend and me, and then rent, and then yeah, some dining outs where I can kind of just maximize and get as many points as I can. An amount of experience with sign up bonuses in the last year. So I was fortunate that my girlfriend was living, and so I would use my rent and her rent, which was good until I realized the sheer velocity of how quick I was hitting sign up bonuses. So that's going to go away here soon. So it's allowing me to kind of just think and taper down. And I'm able to at least track it through like kind of these certain budget apps that I kind of make where I can get like a check register account. And if not, use like the Max Rewards bonus tracker when Max Rewards is acting correctly. So yeah, I mean, for the most part, I don't really have any big expenses that I can kind of gauge around. It's just where can I maximize my everyday spend to hit the sign up bonus. So I'm not usually picking a card gauge based on my spend. I'm just using it based on what would benefit my strategy getting the card. But with that being said, if I'm gonna in my later life, or later in my life, like if there's going to be a time where I'm gonna have large spends where it's like a tax payment or homeowners insurance or whatnot, I'll probably start looking at, okay, cool, I have this large spend that I'm gonna get every year. I might be able to do the Lani approach and opening up a card once a year that I know I'm gonna hit the sign-up bonus for. But for the time being, it's just maximizing my everyday spend.
Matt, the rare times when you have a sign up bonus, I know you're not a huge acquire new cards en masse, as some of us are.
Is that a pink
How do
flying I
you
saw?
handle the sign up bonuses?
So I will it's going to depend on the type of card. If we're talking something like basic Freedom Unlimited or uh, active cash, autograph, something like that, where it's relatively low, that just becomes my everything card until I hit that number. It's just quick and easy, and $1,000 in 3 months, it's going to be really easy to hit. Um, based on my day to day. If it's a bigger welcome offer, like 4,000 over 3 months, like I will plan on, I will try to do it around a big purchase. If it's one of the non-personal cards to kind of help with the channel, or as this grows, kind of help with this, I will put big purchases on those cards just so that, and utilize the 0% on those particular cards. So big purchases fuel those welcome offers. Um, if I'm still running short, I will pick up bills for not only my partner, but also my family. I can utilize some of my spend for, I'll pick up the property tax bill one quarter or one half the year, or I'll throw all of the utilities on, or try to pay the internet bill, or um, things like that. Hey, are there things in the other household that I can assist with? So it depends on how much spend needs to go through. It depends on what sort of time frame I'm working with. I will always try to hit the welcome offer, as hit that minimum spend as soon as I can, but not try to overdo things and put myself in a position where I cannot pay back the card, especially the cards that I open that have that interest hitting immediately. You don't ever want to fall into that trap, because if you're paying interest from the first month that you're getting the card, you're not doing it right. So it will depend. 0% card, I want to put bigger purchases on, but or use it for everything, not worry about it, pay the minimums, go from there, just because I know how to use 0% offers. Bigger offers, I will put big purchases on, just say, hey, pay me back, go from there. If it's family or my partner, and then, try to keep to the award categories as best I can. And if I can't, if that's not part of the spend, um, just use it as the everything card until I hit that minimum spend. when I did the Sapphire Reserve, I put all the travel that I had a bunch of travel for a friend's wedding coming up. So I just put all the travel on that card to start. That got me to 2,500 like in a month and a half. So then I only had to do 1,500 from there.
Dear Amex, you want a new card idea? Make a wedding card for bridesmaids, because I have female friends who are in wedding parties, and the amount of crap that they have to do for pre-wedding things, post-wedding things, during wedding, I swear it is an industry unto itself, and there is no bridesmaid-specific card. You can make bank on that, just in swipe fees alone.
Just make it a general like wedding category for like wedding planners and whatnot, because yeah, like you said, the wedding industry is a very, very lucrative industry. Apparently.
It's a racket.
Just elope. Like if you want a wedding, that's one thing. If you want a marriage, just elope.
Go to the courthouse at that point.
Yeah, it's a racket.
Well, thank you, everybody.
So much rent sinking. Sorry. Thanks, RJ. Thanks everyone for your topics this week. If you like what we do, hit the like and subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Drop us a comment on our Wednesday videos. Check out our Friday videos. That's the Q&A. You can drop a question there. You can also drop a question in our Discord. That is the Stack Your Points Discord. You can utilize the podcast questions section of the Discord for questions, podcast chats, talk about the podcast, and we have a whole bunch of other channels in there and some pretty awesome people in there as well. So some of whom you can find exclusively there. So that's awesome. And Lani, if we wanted to find you on the vast expanses of the internet, where's the best place to do that?
My little corner of the internet is on YouTube under my channel name, which is Call Me Lani, which is all one word, and Lani is spelled Lani. You can find me there. And if I'm not there, you can find me in your Stack Your Points Discord.
Thank you very much, Lani. Tariq, best place to find you on the internet.
Absolutely, Stack Your Points Discord. And now that I think work is gonna kind of chill out for me a little bit, Reeks Awards. Still pending. Work is still kicking my butt, but the kicks are getting a little softer.
There we go. And RJ.
You can find me in the Stack Your Points Discord. I'm not promising nothing right now. No, you will find me here on Monday nights recording this podcast, Tuesday probably editing it, and Wednesday and Friday on your YouTubes, and Saturdays on your podcast feed. That's what you get from me right now, and you're gonna like it.
If you find RJ editing, RJ needs to run away.
RJ is tired right now, guys. It's been a long 3 months.
It's been a long 2025, and we just got into March.
Yeah, March is almost halfway over. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. I'm Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel. Check me out there. You can check me out on the Stack Your Points Discord, and that'll do it. We will see you then.